Week 6 is here, and the Pick 6 podcast starts now.
Another week in the NFL that is just full of everything from tons of injuries, compelling stories. NFL is like, it's not a soap opera. It's like a real story. Like there's so much written and so much yet that has not been written or shown. Like there's NFL is like a story. It's a chapter. This is week 6 is like chapter 6. Literally, this is what the NFL is. And week 6 was another chapter in what is just a storybook. And to give you guys an example, and I'm not going to be talking about this game in my pick 6, but I have to talk about this because I watched this. Last week, we saw Stefon Diggs come out and put out a stellar performance against his former team in Buffalo. You could see that he was ready to go. There was those emotions. You know, when players say, oh, you got traded from a team, it's just business. Trust me, there is a little personal in that. Now we fast forward to this week, the Cowboys-Panthers game. I'm not going to get into details because that's not one of my pick 6s. But Rico Dowdle goes off for a total of 239 yards and has a touchdown in that game. And he literally just came out and just went absolute nuclear on the Cowboys. So before I officially start my pick 6, I want you all to listen to what he said before the game and after the game.
Is this kind of like a message?
Oh, for sure. They got to buckle up. I think they know for sure.
Rico, if your message last week was buckle up to the Cowboys, what's your message after the game?
They weren't buckled up.
So that was Rico Dowdle after beating his former team. That was watching that was like, wow, like, did they piss this guy off? Like, what happened? Like, there's a lot of things that we don't know that transpires when teams are either releasing a player or trading him. Stefon Diggs, we know he was traded. We had a little bit of insight on why he got traded. Rico Dowdle, I guess it was a business decision, but Rico Dowdle wasn't too happy about the business decision, hence why he decided to circle this game on his calendar, and the rest is history. So let's start with let's just get to the pick 6, guys. Folks, of course, you guys all know, if you guys are a regular listener, thank you so much for listening and keep listening. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be riding this train all through the year from beginning to end. But let's start with the Chiefs, and let's start with the Chiefs versus Lions. The Chiefs 30-17. This was pretty much a game who just made more plays. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, made more plays than Jared Goff. KC did not want to go 2-4. 2-4 pretty much would have had them in the position to literally claw their way to get back into a wild card spot. So, Patrick Mahomes is 22 for 30, 257, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked 3 times. Jared Goff, 23 for 29, 203, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked once. The difference of this game was Mahomes made more plays. The Detroit defense neutralized the run game. Patrick Mahomes did have that 1 rushing touchdown. Gibbs and Montgomery, a.k.a. Sonic and Knuckles, didn't really do too much that was impactful. St. Brown only had 9 receptions for 45 yards. Hollywood Brown had 2 touchdown passes, only had 4 receptions for 45. Xavier Worthy got his 1 touchdown. Travis Kelce had a decent game, 6 receptions, 78 yards. It was just a game of who made more plays, and Kansas City made more plays. So at the end of the day, it was just one of those games where KC wanted it more. I just felt like KC wanted it more, and they got the win. So, but yeah, KC 30-17. KC goes to 500, and the Lions are now 4-2. So it's going to be interesting the rest of the way how these two teams continue to play throughout the season. The NFL is a like I said, it's a story. So we'll see what they do in week 6, week 7, aka chapter 7. So the next game on the list that I'm going to talk about, I got to talk about the Eagles and Giants, the Thursday night game, for the simple fact that there's a formula that has been well documented but not talked about. And of course, the Giants won 34-17. Jackson Dart did what he was supposed to do to win that game. He didn't have to be super, super stellar, but he was good enough to win. He was only 17 for 25, 195, one touchdown, no interceptions, and was sacked twice. Jalen Hurts, Scatterboo, of course, had his 3 rushing touchdowns, 98 yards, but the real story was Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, 24 for 33, 283, one touchdown, one interception, was sacked 3 times. The story is Jalen Hurts is a guy, anytime he throws more than 25 times a game, he's not really the Jalen Hurts that he wants to be, because he's not that type of a quarterback. And the 2 games he's thrown more than that, he's lost. He's lost both those games. So, it's just a story of how you play him. I'm sure the Giants paid attention to what Denver did, and I'm sure other teams are going to. Dallas Goddard was 9 receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. That's not usually the case. AJ had his 6 receptions for 80 yards. Devontae had his 4 receptions for 49 yards, but that's not a Jalen Hurts game. Jalen Hurts game is a lot of run, push, all that stuff, a combination. And it just was not the game that the Eagles were looking for. On the other side of things, New York did their thing. They capitalized on the turnover. They made their plays. They did what they needed to do. And they walked out with the win. And I say this because you look at Jalen Hurts and you could see what he could do. He could do good things. Just like the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts capitalized on the turnovers that the defense forced, which put them in a great position to win the Super Bowl, which they did. The game against Denver last week, he was 23 for 38, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but he threw the ball 38 times. When you force this guy to throw the ball more than he has to, which is Jalen Hurts is a 20 to 25 time a game guy. Anything over 25, the story could be a whole different ending. And in this case, it was. So again, at the end of the day, the Giants did their job. They won 34-17, and we'll see how the Eagles bounce from this. This is adversity now. I wouldn't, you know what? I'm going to take that back. I wouldn't call this adversity. I just call this a task. They're gonna have a task. They're gonna have to kind of look at themselves and say, "Hey, man, what can we do?" Because the Eagles are capable of bouncing back from situations like that. But what we do know is Jalen Hurts is not a 40 plus or 35 plus a game passer. That's just not his game. So the next game in business, because I have to talk about this one also in the pick 6, Steelers and Browns, another classic AFC North matchup. And what's interesting about this matchup, the Browns made a trade during the week. They traded Joe Flacco, which I'm going to talk about. They traded Joe Flacco to Green Bay. Sorry, not to Green Bay, sorry. They traded Flacco to Cincinnati. So that's not part of that game, definitely not part of my pick 6. Joe Flacco, who was the starting quarterback for this team, went into his first game with Cincy with 815 yards, 58% passer rating, 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He threw 2 touchdowns in this game today against Green Bay, but Joe Flacco somehow, some way gets a job in the NFL. And the worst part about it was he got traded. They didn't announce Shador as the backup. And then right away this morning, he's a starter. He hasn't even seen the playbook and he's a starter. So, but anyways, if you want to see the results of that game or more stats, you know where to go, whether it's the score, ESPN, or whatever. It's all there, but I'm not going to get into that. But what I am going to get to is that Dylan Gabriel threw the ball 52 times. I said it. He threw the ball 52 times. 29 for 52, 221, no touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked 6 times for a loss of almost 40 yards. I can't even blame him for that loss. Aaron Rodgers, playing very simple, was never sacked. Shocking from that Cleveland defense. 21 for 32, 35, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Metcalf had a touchdown reception. I'm just looking at this Cleveland offense, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, now everybody's screaming for Shador. Let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes. He's going to get his opportunity. But Dylan Gabriel didn't lose this game. He did what he was supposed to do. But Kevin Stefanski and his offensive cohorts put this guy in the position to lose this game. You had this man throw the ball 52 times. 52 times he threw the ball. The Cleveland Browns offense, their runners, their running backs, ran the ball combined for only 17 carries for a combined 65 yards. How are you supposed to win games like that? Like, Kevin Stefanski, everyone's, he's won the coach of the year twice, blah, blah, blah. But what has he done from that? What has been the climax of this? I mean, eventually, they're gonna, you got people talking about firing Aaron Glenn, who I'm going to talk about in a minute. But what about this? Like, what is he? I mean, I know you guys don't want to play Shador. We know the story already. But Dylan Gabriel did the best he could. Poor kid. You guys put him in a position to fail. Like, this was horrible. And I did watch this game. And I was just like, what is this? Anyways, the Steelers win 23-9. The Steelers are 4-1. They're walking away with this division. I don't see Cincinnati going anywhere with Joe Flacco. Baltimore is in the mess. And the Browns are just, it's a shit fire. If the Steelers could win 10 games, they win this division. So that's a wrap. The next game on my list, like, I got to talk about this Sunday night game. Sorry, not Sunday night. This Sunday morning in London, extravaganza. This game was a disaster. I'm sorry. The Jets and the Broncos, this game was a disaster. I don't know what is going on in this game. The final game was 13-11. And I'm going to go right to the last couple minutes of the second quarter of this game, of the first half. And the mere sheer incompetence of the offensive coordinator and the play calling was completely a disaster. Letting the clock run out, running these cutesy plays. There's just, what I saw from the Jets is a team that is truly in the position that they're in. They are 0-5, and this is why they were 0-5 going into this game. The offensive play calling was horrible. Again, they put Justin Fields in a position not to win this game. but just to manage it enough to hopefully they could win this game. Justin Fields only threw the ball 17 times in this game. He went into the half with 17 yards passing. I'm telling you all because I watched this game live. He finished the game with 45 yards passing. He was sacked 9 times for a loss of a total of 55 yards. He was sacked 9 times, the same amount of times he actually completed the pass. Like, what is this? What are the Jets doing? They're now 0-16. The final score was 13-11. But my takeaway from this game, folks, is that the Jets have no identity right now. The defense could only do so much. Going against a Sean Payton Broncos team who I feel, and I'm going to talk about Bo Nix in a second, they're lucky to be 4-2. But they deserve to win this game. There's a lot of unfinished plays that this game was a mess. These are two teams that both should be going into this game 0-5. They should have both been 0-5 going into this game. I don't want to say anything about Justin Fields yet, but Aaron Glenn, I'm cheering for him. But if he loses another game or even 2 more games, I don't know if they're going to keep him. And if he finishes 1-16, you think they're going to keep him? They might fire him. So I just hope that the Jets, and I'll say this right now, the Jets need another offensive coordinator. Get a new OC and get somebody in there who's competent enough to put the offense in a position to at least win a game. There's been 4 games this year that they could have won. I didn't watch any of them. I watched clips. But after watching this, now I see why they're 0-6. That offensive coordinator has to go. Broncos win 13-11. But before I go, Bo Nix. My thing is, Bo Nix is not a Sean Payton type quarterback. He's definitely not. Sean Payton is known for he's a high-octane coordinator, high-octane coach. He wants to throw that ball 40 times. His quarterbacks are finishing 3 touchdowns, 300 and something yards. Like, these are Drew Brees numbers. Bo Nix is not his type of quarterback. But what Sean Payton has done, he has consolidated his playbook so that he puts Bo Nix in the position to at least win a game. And this is why Denver won. I don't know what to say about the Jets, but the Jets are not going anywhere. Now, before I get to this next game, guys, I've been talking about Miami, and I want you to hear these comments from Tua. And I have to say, this kind of answers a lot of things that are going on with the Dolphins. And I can't shoot him in the foot for this, although he threw 3 picks. So check out this clip from Tua, listen to his comments, and then I'm going to get to this particular game.
Yeah, well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
So that was Tua. I watched that game. I watched him throw that last pick to Derwin James with just about 5 seconds to go. And Etienne ran for 16 times, 128, 2 touchdowns. That guy could ball. Jalen Waddle got his 6 receptions, 95 yards. I don't know what to say about the Dolphins because I don't think they lose this game if he doesn't throw any picks. If Tua doesn't throw any picks, they win this game. And you now start hearing Tua talking about this team and what he said in his press conference. I could see why this team is 1-5. I don't know how long Mike McDaniel is going to last, but even if you fire Mike McDaniel, who could solve this problem? This is a locker room problem. This is when you got to start removing players and making some deals to remove players from this roster. Because there's a disease in that locker room right now, and it's not helping the team get in any positions to succeed. They're not going to succeed if those are the things that are happening in that locker room. This game really is second to that. So the Chargers win 29-27. Herbert was 29 for 38, 264, 2 touchdowns. Vidal had 18 carries for 124. McConkey had 7 receptions, 100 yards. He had that nice little run to set up that game-winning field goal. It was just one of those games where I watched the game, even though he threw the 2 picks before the last one to try to get back in position, which the game was already over. Third pick was a whatever. That press conference with Tua sums up exactly how this Mike McDaniel tenure has been treated as. They don't respect you. They don't respect him as a coach. They don't respect him as a person. And I'm not saying he should lose his job, but I'm saying he should be removed because you need to put somebody in that position that will actually let these players know who the captain and who the general is, because obviously they don't respect Mike McDaniel. I just hope that Mike McDaniel could get it together. You know, you feel bad for a coach. He's it's just like the James Franklin situation right now that everybody's talking about what happened in Penn State. If you guys don't know, he got fired from Penn State today. Although he brought Penn State back from the depths of nowhere. And Penn State thinks they're just going to go hire somebody and they're going to win whatever. But so Mike McDaniel, I don't know, 29-27. Chargers pull it off. It was just one of those games you're just like, what's going to happen here? Like, what's going on here? But at the end of the day, it's the NFL and nobody cares. The last game on the menu, I do have some quick notes I'm going to mention, but this game I have to talk about. Baker Mayfield, this guy continues to find ways, and he's now even considered an MVP candidate. 17 for 23, 256, 2 touchdowns. Rashad Wright ran for a touchdown. And he utilized whatever receivers he had because there was a bunch of injuries on that team. Cameron Johnson had 1 touchdown, 4 receptions, 64 yards. And, Tampa finds ways. They're 5-1. They're doing what they can. And my takeaway, again, is Kyle Shanahan. And I keep saying it. And I know people are saying, well, why are you giving him such a hard time? Mac Jones did what he could. You had to put Mac Jones in the position not to succeed in this game. He was 27 for 39, 347, and 2 interceptions. He was sacked 6 times. The offensive line, they opened that field like Moses opened the rivers. Like, it was just like he was not put in any position to win this game. It was just like it's not happening for him. The play calling was suspect. This is classic Kyle Shanahan. The guy has been balling. Let's be honest. Mac Jones has been balling, just like Daniel Jones, despite Daniel Jones had a classic Daniel Jones interception today. These guys have been balling. You know that this is what they could do. Keep that going. You put him in a position not to win. And I keep saying it, like Kyle Shanahan is a proven loser when it comes to games like this. It's like, when do people realize that listen, San Francisco fans, you have a good team on paper. Of course, a Fred Warner injury, that's devastating. Injuries are a big part of the game. There's a ton of injuries that happened this week and has been happening. And there's more guys that are going to be questionable and there's going to be out for the week. I mean, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were out for Tampa, so there's no excuses. But Kyle Shanahan, I don't know what he's doing. I'm not here to criticize him, but I'm going to critique what I see. The numbers don't lie. So The Bucks win 39-19, and that's just one of those games. So now, before I conclude the show, there's a couple of notes. First order of business, in the Arizona game, that was a shootout. Jacoby Brissett, shout out to him. He was balling. He did what he could, backing up, of course, Kyler Murray, who was injured too. Jonathan Taylor doing Jonathan Taylor stuff. Baltimore Ravens, it's a wrap. It's over. It's done. I mean, I saw that goal line stop in the end zone with about 8 seconds to go, trying to run Henry in the end zone, and they were like, nah, it's not happening. The Rams like, nah, it's not happening. Not happening at all. So I don't know what's going on, but it's over for them. New England, Drake May, man, he's starting to come of age, man. He's coming of age. Keep your eyes on that. Buffalo now has something to compete for in that division. Let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes. Buffalo's going to win that division. But now there's some type of competition in that division. Not competition, but somebody that's actually showing that they want to do something. So besides that, that's all my notes for tonight, folks. Another edition of the show has complete. This is week 6 of the PICK6IX podcast. And if you're listening to the show, as usual, thank you very much. If you're a first-time listener, hey, welcome. There's more to come. And for all of those, do you know the usual? Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I'm signing off. I'm out. PICK6IX. Unscripted 101 family, Unscripted 101 library. This pod show was presented to you by the pod show by Beat Fact Music. Let me stop blathering here. Folks, I'm out. Peace.